Take number one. First start in 23 years. Everything that I should have replaced has been done. Let's keep our fingers crossed. What's up everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to try to start my Mazda Rx-7 for the first time in 23 years. So if this is your first time to my channel and you want to see what we had before this, how we got this, and all the cool things that came with it, please check out the last video. I'll put it up here in the corner for you. But besides that, let me give you a little rundown of what we had to do before we even try to start it. So first things first, this car sat for 23 years like I said. Last inspection in New Jersey was 2001. So it is obviously 2024 now, which is why I say it sat for 23 years. Maybe they drove it for another year or so, I'm not sure, but that sounds about accurate to me. So when I bought this car, I knew it sat because of an electrical issue that they didn't feel like fixing, and I was okay with that. I checked out the fuel lines and they were completely rotted, so I knew that was gonna have to get addressed. And obviously with a car sitting for 23 years, you're gonna wanna drain all the fuel in the fuel tank as well. But because it sat for so long without being ran at any point, first thing you want to do is see if the motor spins over by hand. But even before you try that, you're gonna have to throw some ATF fluid or Marvel Mystery Oil in the spark plug holes, let it sit to make sure the apex seals aren't stuck to the housings, and then after it sits for probably a couple hours, I let it sit for a couple days, you can turn it over by hand, and that's exactly what we did. All right, moment of truth. Been sitting with Marvel Mystery Oil for, I don't know, a couple weeks. Hell yeah. Ooh. That compression sounds really good too. Hell yeah. Might have to replace the gas tank before we do anything though, because that shit looks crusty. So as you saw, the motor spun over by hand with ease. I barely put any pressure on the ratchet to actually get it to turn, which is great news. So now since the motor spun, now it's time to deal with the fuel lines and the fuel tank. First, I went to siphon out the fuel and there was none. All right, so I had to pop this open using a trim removal tool because I was stuck. I wanted to look in the gas tank prior to siphoning out the gas, but as you can see, all the screws are rusted, so those are gonna have to get drilled out, annoyingly. I was hoping that was clean considering how clean the back of here is. So I have this all hooked up, tried siphoning, but sounds like the tank is empty. Same thing when I knock on it. Sounds like nothing's in there. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Because there was no fuel in it, I thought that would have been good news, but it turned out it basically all evaporated and left a disgusting film inside the tank, and whatever was in the fuel lines rusted out from the inside out. And let me show you what that looked like, and it was utterly disgusting and smelt so bad, I wasn't even gonna try cleaning this tank. Real quick, let me show you what we were dealing with the old tank. As you can see, it's pretty crusty. I had to drill out or grind off every single one of these bolts, and then the inside, that's what we were dealing with. Fucking disgusting. I wish I could explain to you how bad this stuff smells, and when it gets on clothing, it will not come out. Look how nasty that is. That filter is supposed to be white, if not like an off-white. You could even look in there. I don't know how well the light's gonna adjust, but nasty. I was gonna clean it, but with how bad this smells, I'm not even dealing with it. So that's what 23-year-old gas looks like for you. So with knowing the fuel tank was completely shot and it was so disgusting, I didn't even want to touch it. We had to source a new one. After dealing with a couple scammers, I actually found one for a really good deal. Dropped straight in because it's for an S5. Came with the hanger and the pump as well, which is great. And I actually had some fuel lines sitting around already just by chance. So we dropped the fuel tank and get the new one in. So we have to get these two lines off, and then I believe there's one more take that third one off once we drop the tank. This one, I gotta take off these two clamps, get these hoses off, and those will come off with the tank. So underneath the car you have these two straps, but these bolt up right there. Same on the other side. You can see that one a little better. We gotta take off this heat shield, gotta take off the exhaust. As you lower it, make sure that vent line up top is not attached. But that's really it. Be careful with these. I sprayed these with not WD-40, PB Blaster for a little while. Let them sit. Did that a couple times and then loosened it by hand because you really don't want those snapping or else it'll be a really bad time. Alright, so as you can probably tell, it's a new day. I got a brand new tank. Well, not brand new, new to me. Inside is mint. I had some brake lines from another car that I got parts from. We're gonna drop the rear subframe on my car. The tank is already out, as you saw. Once it's dropped, we're gonna remove the existing fuel lines and brake lines and then replace them with these guys. So let me give you a better view of what we're working with. Diff and subframe is out. These are the lines we're replacing. Disgusting, completely disgusting. Thankfully I had those other lines laying around just in case. Let's get these out so then we could put in the new stuff. Alright, so that only took 35 minutes. I'm fairly impressed with myself. Now we put in the fuel tank and then change oil, spark plugs, and we can try starting it. Alright, finally in. So now that we have the new fuel tank and fuel lines in, the next step is making sure we have fresh oil, fresh plugs, and fresh gas. Alright, so before we put in the spark plugs, I want to tell you what spark plugs we have to use on a rotary engine to be specific. Right here we have BUR7EQ and BUR9EQ NGK plugs. The 7EQ are the leading ones, the 9EQ are the trailing, and to know which ones go where, so the leading is the lower. Just remember that with the L's, the trailing is for the top. Just remember that for the T's. Simple trick, or just save the photo of what plugs go where and you'll never forget. But let's toss these in. We also got some two-stroke oil and some injector cleaner. I think the injectors might be gunked up. I'm gonna try starting it once we do the oil change, plugs and everything. And then if it tends to sputter or doesn't run too well, we'll know that we have to clean the injectors. Alright, so right now we're changing the oil. As you see right here, we have Castrol GTX 20W50. It is conventional because that's what Mazda recommends. 20W50 is used for any starting temperatures above 30 degrees. And I only plan on driving this in the summer, so that's what we're going with. And then for the fuel filter, we got a Purelator 1. I had good luck with this on my Subaru, so might as well use it here. I know they're good quality filters, so we shouldn't have any problems with that. So now, since we have a new fuel tank, new fuel lines, the motor spins by hand, oil in the engine, new oil filter, spark plugs, fuel premix, and injector cleaner, and a battery, now we can try to start this car. I gotta remove the air box because the air filter is disgusting. But besides that, plug in the battery, remove the air filter, and then we can start it. That is why we're removing this air filter. It even had a nest in here. I don't know if I have a photo, but if I do, I'll insert it. But this thing's nasty. Put this aside for now. Put this back on so no water gets in. And now we're good to start it. Moment of truth. We got power, key, on. Wish me luck. No spark. RPM not bouncing either. Alright, she cranks. Doesn't sound like we're getting spark. Should be getting fuel. I don't know. As you saw, the car did not start. We weren't getting spark or fuel, and I know that because the tachometer was not bouncing. So I looked it up, talked to a buddy of mine, Jack, and his consensus was to try and replace that one relay which controls the spark and the fuel, because he had that problem before. So that's what we did first. Alright, so as you saw, the car did not start. We're trying to diagnose it right now. I don't hear a fuel pump. We have weak spark, if not any spark. But my buddy Jack said there's a relay tucked over in the corner that actually is used for the fuel pump and for the coil pack. So we're replacing that. He had an extra. We're gonna see if that works. But if that doesn't, we're then gonna start testing things, testing fuses and all that. But I'll keep you updated, and I'll let you know what we find. So we replaced that relay that powers the fuel pump and the coil packs, and it didn't make a difference. So what we didn't check were the other relays or the fuses. I forgot to film this, but I checked under the driver's side footwell where the fuse box is, and let me just check the engine fuse, right? Because that's what sends power from the ECU to the engine harness. And guess what? You good?
That just shocked the fuck out of me.
Alright, so you can't hear because I shut it off. But the car started. It happened to be the engine fuse under. I can't speak right now.
I'm going to the hospital after this.
It was the engine fuse in the driver compartment by the footwell. We still didn't get.
Your fuel pump's still not working. So
yeah, because the fuel pump's still unplugged. Oh. Okay. All right. So we have spark. The engine fuse is not popped. I guess the coil packs obviously work now. Damn, I wasn't recording the first start. I wasn't ready.
Well, let's plug this up, spray it, and see if we can
keep it on. Dude, that's such good news. All right. Also, somehow at some point today, a bird shit on my Vans and I had no idea. They say when a bird shits on you, that's good luck. So that's probably why the car started today. So let's spray this with brake clean again. You're saying fuel still didn't come out. Well, you weren't at the back.
Yeah, but I went there right now.
It's not wet. Fuel pumps still might need diagnosing, but that's good. I know, but I might have a spare one. All right, well, let me stop talking. We'll show you this thing start for the first time in 23 years and let it run for a sec. And then we'll go from there. Not shock jack again? Take two. Let's see. You want to spray it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we need fuel.
Do it one more time.
That's good news. I'm glad the wind is also blowing this way, because otherwise I would have been gassed the fuck out. So fuel pump.
So, hold on, wait. What about the one that was in your car? They at least started the car.
Oh, yeah, I do have the one from my S4 pump.
So you can test it.
And that's at your house right now. And that one did work.
So So you just throw that in and see.
Yeah. No, because I knew the tank looks like shit from the outside. The inside, it's mint. So yeah.
We'll throw that in there and see
Perfect.
how it goes.
All right, so that's the plan. That wasn't the first official start, I guess, because it didn't stay running, but that's good news. Compression sounds good. We have spark, and we're dialing down we're figuring out what exactly is wrong with this. So next step, as you heard, fuel pump, and then hopefully it runs, because then once it runs, we'll do all the fluids and everything and get this thing roadworthy. But let's go get that pump and then see what happens. All right, so fun fact, if anybody ever changes their fuel tank and their fuel lines, if you follow the hard lines all the way to the tank, the return is in the middle, the fuel feed is on the left. When it goes to the tank, they actually crisscross. So the fuel feed is on the right or middle, and the fuel return is on the outside. So I'm telling you this because that's what I did. So that's the return, that's the feed. So let's hope it starts and runs this time. God damn it. Where are my keys? Don't tell me I locked the keys in the car.
Yeah.
Perfect. I got extras. Alright. Always keep spare keys on you, because when you're in the middle of doing something, you might forget to take them out of the ignition. Alright, is the battery plugged in, Jack?
Yes, sir.
Battery's plugged in. Fuel pump is connected. Don't tell me I filmed everything zoomed in. Hold
A
on.
little bit of gas to help it.
Nah, all natural. Might need a little gas to help. Nothing?
You might need some brake fluid to help it out.
You want to?
Right now.
Ran out of brake clean. Man. Come on, baby. Come on. So, I guess we'll get brake clean, get more gas, and hopefully this thing will actually run. All right, it's a new day. We got brake clean, we got more gas, and we actually got the fuel pump from my old Mazda, because that one is a pump that we know works, and this one sounds a little weak. So we're gonna swap the pump and then hope it starts and actually runs. So let's see what happens. So we do have a slight issue with the one that was in the tank. As you see, one of the wires was cut. I don't know when that happened, but I'll splice that back together, and then we're going to be putting this pump in. Alright, so I had to do some splicing because when I went to go put this pump in, this wire right here, which looks like it's a ground for the actual gauge, that was completely ripped in half. So spliced that together, covered up some exposed wire with some heat shrink, and then I had to snip the wires on this S4 hanger and then splice it into the clip. So the reason I did that was because the S5 one, this wire here was melted from it being shorted out. So everything's connected and heat shrinked, so everything should be good. Alright. I got fuel, got the pump, battery connected. Let's see if this brake clean helps. And moment of truth. So close. one more shot. What I'm thinking is injectors might be clogged. We got pump. So as you saw, the car actually started for the first time in 23 years, and it sounded amazing. It wouldn't stay running, and my consensus is the fuel injectors are clogged. I mean, you saw the fuel tank, so let's hope they don't look like that, but they probably do. So that's gonna be our next step in this process. If you enjoyed this video and you wanna stick around to see what we do with this thing, actually get it running and roadworthy, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Sick, cozy. Can't wait to fucking drive it. Hopefully I can drive it.